So, what I want to do is... Okay. So, what I wanted to do today is... I'm going to close out this. So first thing I wanted to do was kind of go through a basic ChatGPT Atlas kind of breakdown. So I just downloaded this yesterday, and this is GBT's AI LLM integrated browser, and so far it's been kind of nice. So in the past, I got used to half splitting everything. So if I was working on something over here, I would have ChatGPT on the side, and then I would go do something along the lines of like this. So let's say I went to Google and I needed some work done. Five, tab, 6, 7. All right. So for instance, like I suck at spreadsheets. So in my layout, let's say I was laying out some data and I wanted this to be something, and I know I can do formulas. So instead of relying on just generating the formula, writing the formula myself, I would just use AI as my co-pilot. And so I'd be like, hey, can you give me the sum formula for a Google Docs? It incorporates the column fields A, B, and C, and it sums up everything to D. And so I would do it this methodology, right? So ChatGPT's thinking, and I'm waiting for its response. And da, 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 da. This is just a generalized example of how I would do things. It is. Go ahead, try it again. I turned off agent mode. Of course it glitches. But I'm working in Google Sheets. I put in some mock data in row 2. fields A, B, and C. Okay, can you give me a formula that can be put into D2 that is a sum total of what is in row 2, columns A, B, and C? And so I would just do simplified stuff like this. And so that would be like a generalized thing, okay? And or I would do something along the lines of, hey, ChatGPT, I'm not super familiar with formatting sheets. Can you walk me through the steps on how to make sure that the cells I have data are properly formatted for printing? So I would like the cells to be automatically spread out and printable on the page. So it automatically puts in borders, and it makes sure that even if I add cells and columns later, that the print layout compresses all the data that's in relevant cells to the sheet. How can I do that? So I've never done this task before. So I put in little mock data, and I want to get this ready for printing. Okay, and so I'd use ChatGPT as my co-pilot, as a simplified explainer of things. Okay, and so now it's giving me the steps. Step 1, click and drag and highlight the whole sheet. Press Command and you have versus options. Choose resize column, fit to data. Choose resize rows, fit to data. So Command A, and then choose the resize column. Okay, so it's right here, resize column, fit to data, and then resize row, fit to data. Okay. Okay. Next step, apply automatic borders. Click the border icon. Okay, choose outer border or all borders. This gives you a clean printable grid. And then set up fit to page printing. Go to File, Print. Print. Okay, so I have a little bit. And then it's going to walk me through layout, portrait and landscape. We're going to do portrait. And then scaling, fit to page. Fit to page. And then margins narrow. And then we can, under headers and footers, repeat for hit sec, next save to PDF. And then it gives me that. Okay. Can you write me an app script in JavaScript that can perform all those tasks? Now that kind of question is probably better to go to Claude Code, but I was kind of curious. So this is kind of the typical methodology of how I've gotten used to operating with ChatGPT. I split screen everything, and then I have lots of various tabs open, but I always have my chat tab taking up about half the screen. Now that, so whatever it is I'm doing, I'm just kind of jumping between back and forth, whether it's utilizing the ChatGPT app or web interface, it doesn't matter. I've always, the last several years, I've kind of run it like this. I've always just split screen everything. Now we have Atlas. And Atlas is ChatGPT's integrated Now, Atlas is OpenAI's new web browser. So no longer will I need to necessarily split screen. So the key feature I'm enjoying right now with this is no longer need for split screen. I can now go to the website. You have your standard search capabilities, right? And this is pretty cool because this looks like your very clean and simple standard new chat, right? Not much different. If you look at those side by side, not much is different. Okay, you have the icon, you have your side field, not a whole lot going there. Obviously the web page does it a little bit cleaner, simple, gives you other options. This same thing, all the same stuff. Buttons. I think they did take away advanced voice, so you don't have advanced voice, but it allows you right off the bat, opening up as your default browser is ChatGPT. And let's check to see how different is the web browser different than the thing. So let's ask a generic question. What's new in Bitcoin news? Okay, so the web browser function so website kind of does the same thing. Okay, gives me relevant articles, gives me the market moves, and gives me a little bit brief. Let's see how this one does. Gives me some articles to look at, goes right into the brief synopsis of the market dynamics, and so it skips on providing me a snapshot. So this would have been nice to look at, but because my question wasn't really related to the chart, this is like kind of overkill. This got it a little bit better. It went straight to news articles of what's going on and then different market dynamics. Versus if I did something on just Google, see how different it is. It goes straight to sponsored links right off the top. Okay. No relevant information. I have website upon website, video sources. So I got to do some digging instead of having a nice pretty brief of what's going on with relevant source information. Like all this is probably this condensed into an easier, more digestible framework, right? But now I have to go layers deeper. So if you're looking for like one-click options, this is a great methodology. Okay, so that's one highlight, but that's just how ChatGPT operates when you ask simple questions. Key thing that I really, really like right now is, so let me pull up the separate. So one thing I had to do all the time is, let's do this. Okay. See what happens when I do this. All right, so now I'm on the same web page. Okay. Okay, so now I'm looking at the same web page, and where once before, like I said, I had to have ChatGPT open to get an idea. So if I had a question about what was going on this page, I would have to essentially scrub it, which is essentially copy and paste. Can you simplify this text for me? And here's a simplified version. Okay, versus now going to the web browser, I now have the option of, let me expand this, going to ask ChatGPT, and ChatGPT automatically opens up a new chat dialog box, and it goes right into it. So over here I have my previous chats over here going on, right? But it automatically goes. So now, can you give me a brief, easy to understand synopsis of what's going on this page I'm on right now? So now with the integrated web browser functionality, I have direct access to what it is I'm on, okay? So now it actually can see and reference going on, okay? So it knows what's going on. And so I'm looking through, this is a consensus thing. It looks like it's hosting events. This is just random things. This event looks interesting. Are there any resources that I can look into to look to see and attend this event? So now, by not going very far, I can have a direct chat with ChatGPT on the page I'm on. So for any of those that are struggle with doing things or finding things, as you're looking and scrubbing the web, you can open up an LLM to have distill information, and it's using all its tools. So it's searched the web. So without going very far, look at all this information it got me. It got me official events. So attend and register, hotels and travel, agenda, facts. Here's the time of the location. It gave me a brief synopsis. So without even reading through everything that's going on here, it's got me various Twitter feeds. Let's play around. So let's say I want to hit attend and register. What happens? Boom, takes me. So once it's figured out a link, it's published right here. I have direct access. So I didn't do any of the searching. Okay. It figured out my best context for my most direct related question. So this has been a really kind of fun little game changer for me, is as I'm searching the web, I can ask direct questions that I've already kind of gotten used to pushing towards ChatGPT that you couldn't before. So now as you're working, you had the ability to search the web on the applications and through the interface of ChatGPT, whether you're using it on the website side or the application, but you had to force it to either do a web search, provide you with links, provide you with resources. Now in natural conversation, because this is now a integrated system, it looks like it's automatic kind of default is when you're asking questions, if it's going to provide you stuff, it's going to provide you useful links that you can directly click on, and it immediately pops you over as the next providable source. So instead of fumbling around here and getting lost, hey, where's this? I don't see that. Where do I go? Here's what I'm looking at. Doing a screenshot. I've played with all those functionalities. Hey, here's what I'm looking at. I should show you my phone of all the times I've done screenshots of my computer display to pass over what it is I was doing. Just last week, before this browser even came through, I was working on tests, and I would have to do copy and pastes. WGU. Let me see. Let's do applied algebra. And see if it'll let us do. So what I've had to do in the past for assistance, here we go. So I'm studying for an exam, right? And I need help with a question. I'm studying, I'm in study mode on ChatGPT. Let's close this out a little bit, shrink it down. Hey, I'm studying for a test. Can you help me out? It's my WGU algebra test. Do you remember the context of what we studied? Mm-hmm. All right, so I have ChatGPT open. I'm on question 36. I'm going to give you what I'm looking at. So in the past for these study sessions, copy and paste. Now I've just given it the answers, okay? And the question criteria, right? I'm studying. It wants to educate me. I have this graph. Now what I just attempted to do is a copy and paste drag over, right? But if you look at over here on ChatGPT side, it's missing the graph. Okay, so I have to figure out how to get a graph in here. Okay, so let's see if it can answer the question without the graph. See, it says, great. Before we pick your answer, I'm going to walk you through a tutor style, blah, 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 blah. All right, so it's attempting to walk me through it. Okay. Before you tutor me, is it helpful for you to see the graph context for this kind of question, or do you care at all? All right, so it does want the graph, okay? And so now I have to figure out how to give it a picture. And what I just did was I went to pictures, actually cancel. So if you hit the plus button, if you're new to ChatGPT and you're following this, you hit the plus button. I'm on my computer display right now, okay? ChatGPT can see images, okay? So you can provide it images. So I'd have to go into here. But if you look, so what I've done in the past is I would typically go Control Shift 4, do a quick screenshot. Okay, now go to my screenshot. Everything's organized by recents. Now I have my new screenshot. Okay. Here's the graph. Now can you give me your tutor tips for solving this question? Okay. Yeah, this is so in order to get ChatGPT to understand or see what I was looking at, I would typically have to do copy and paste. And this pulls in a new image into the chat dialog box. This is the website version, what you're seeing on my mouse that I'm looking at right now. And it says perfect. This graph helps a lot. It's giving me an explanation. We're pretending right now that we're studying. Okay. Okay. So now it's giving me coaching tips, and I can go in and further discuss. When it comes to algebra, tell me a little bit about XY coordinates. XY coordinates is a coordinate plane. So you have an X coordinate, or this one's a T coordinate, and this one's the Y vector coordinate, and this is a model that's being plotted here. And here it is giving me explanations. Okay, so now let's maximize this. Okay, let's go to ChatGPT. Again, go study and learn mode on. Hey ChatGPT, I'm having some problems with this math problem. Are you able to look all this over, talk to me about the graph, what it is I'm seeing on the graph, and help coach me? I have a test coming up. I'm trying to crunch and understand this, but some of this just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not quite sure what I'm having a problem with, but I'm looking at the chart, and I have no idea what that chart, that line means. It's particularly the dashed red line. Do you see it? All right, so it already knew, and see that screenshot that I took? If we go back to the other ChatGPT, had to be fed context that I was in WGU. I didn't explicitly state it. This is a new chat. No one point in time did I tell it, okay? If you look at my chat histories, it scrubs, okay? It looked and noticed the context. It knew what the test was, looked at it, and broke it down. We were talking about the one graph from the WCU assessment, like the profit, population, and logistics growth graph. And can you tell me which question you're on? Okay, so it didn't see what question. I'm currently on question 36. It's on my display right now. Okay, so all I did was I told it what question. I didn't even scrub it over. Remember how in the app I had to scrub the question, give it context. It could not, and fill it with everything. So I had to spend time copying and pasting over, right? So even though I was on a web browser, I have ChatGPT open on the side. So I'm split screening using the application or the thing, and I'm so constantly spending time looking at content on one side, trying to maneuver, and then talk about it on the other, trying to get operations done. And now what they've done is just they've just operated. They've completely cohesively melded it together. My question now is, can Gemini do this? So if I go to Google, right, Ask AI mode. Let's go to Google. Let's look at Bitcoin news again. Actually, let's close this out. Let's go. We're gonna operate in Chrome. And Bitcoin news. Okay. Pick a random ass site, blockchain news. And let's see. In Chrome, what features can I do to get quick access? I have Google's Gemini. Let's see. Hey, Gemini, can you tell me about the page I'm on? Can you give me a brief of what is going on? What I'm trying to understand this, and give me a frame of reference of what this specific article is talking about.
I can't quite see the page you're looking at yet. There should be a button in the Gemini window that lets you share the page with me. Once you do that, I'll be able to give you a summary.
Which button gives you that ability?
I can't quite see the page you're looking at yet. There should be a button in the Gemini window that lets you share the page with me.
All right, I think I've clicked it. Go ahead.
Okay, I've got it. This article from blockchain.news is about a rumor that Donald Trump pardoned Changpeng Zhao, the former CEO of Binance. The rumor suggests this could lead to a big jump in Bitcoin's price, similar to what happened when Zhao was released from prison last year. Does that...
All right, can you give me a little bit more, give me a scientific brief of what this all means? Like, think strategically of what the next moves would be for Bitcoin in a month, based off of this particular synopsis article. Okay. So it's giving me that optionality. Okay. But if you look here, with Gemini, you can only generate text. Okay. And let's do this. Let's go to, Wall Street Journal. wallstreetjournal.com. Google. Wall Street Journal. All right. So now, all right, so it can. All right, so what page am I on now? Okay. So Gemini does have the option to see, but you have to go a layer deeper and actually share it with it in its thing. And it's only like a tiny little thing. I mean, I can expand it out, I guess, more if I needed to. But just having super basic text, okay. And so one key feature too is let's see. So you have in the browser, you have pretty much the entirety of ChatGPT's standard suite of tools. So, like, Gemini is super far behind. Like, okay, so the closest it got was just having that little pop-up icon. It was nice that it went straight to voice mode. That might be beneficial to have a conversation. I find the chat is beneficial. I think having them operate in tandem would be better in the long run. But letting the users have that option of selecting their preference of what they like to do. I think having a kind of a co-pilot that you can just immediately start querying right off the bat. Like if you were searching the web and you had advanced voice mode happening in the background while you're doing things, searching the web, that would be kind of cool. I'm sure that's in the framework. So one cool thing is, right? Obviously they have agent mode. So if I needed to, hey, I really like the layout of this website. Can you take a look at it? And can you give me a basic image rendering of this, but in the style for web page design? I want to use it as a reference for my own personal website. Can you give me all the sections? Can you give it so I can probably drop it into Figma, and then also give me color palettes, the works, so I can save this piece as a reference for design. So in my thought process, I think it's just cooler that this you just have the full suite of tools right there. No longer needing to do split screen. I could just go right to the icon, open it up, and it's kind of cool because it tracks it across. So if I had a chat, okay, so I'm on this one here. Okay, so on this web page, I was working on this, which is cool. Let's see. Click over. Okay. ChatGPT, I just finished school. I just submitted my last class, so I'm on the verge of graduating. So I just need to apply for graduation. So today's day one. This is a true fact. This is a true story. So let's start looking for jobs in my area, in my expertise. So based off of our conversations, based off our my prior history, our interactions, what you know about me in the past, let's look for open jobs that are applicable to me. I've turned on agent mode. Go ahead, compile, search, and create a list for me of applicable jobs. Create let's go create a Google Doc for me that essentially lists out these jobs, and then essentially build out a 1 month calendar for me to follow, like kind of like a daily planner of a op task. So tasks I need to follow to apply to each job that you find. So just find me like 5 jobs I immediately apply for. Scrub it, look at the internet, what the requirements are, make sure I can possibly curtail, and then if necessary, let's figure out when and what documents I need to display for those jobs, and then give me suggestions for my resume edits, give me the whole works. So for the next month, all we're doing is looking for jobs. So let's find some stuff and create a calendar and a daily tracker. So now I've just given it an advanced task, and I'm still in the web browser. So right now I'm operating in chat. It's going to take over. Right now it's doing a little bit of web searching, and all the while, so each page doesn't interact or interfere with the other. So again, when you were operating in the older times, not like last week, right? If I was doing something, I needed the one specific chat open on the side, and if I needed to jump to another thing, if I had another chat bar, I would have to go through, find the thing I'm working on, find the new chat, right? This is a bunch of different random clicks. So now in the singular interface, so now it's just cleaning things up, right? So even on my ChatGPT, I may have all these crazy chats. Like this is probably all of just today's chats. So on my account, it's going to show way more output on chats going on. It's going to be trying to track things. But on the interface, it's clean, right? I have one page open and I have one ChatGPT thing going on. Here's one thing I'm tracking. And remember, the LLM has memory, so it can track multiple things across multiple strings. So even though it just rendered an image, or it just did this, it has history of what's going on. And so, oh, that was cool. So I was on the primary chat. Now it's gone to Google Docs, and right now it's searching the web. It's got agent mode. So the agent is taking care of looking like it's going to set up a Word doc for me while it's searching the web on the side, looking for applicable jobs. And I think what it's going to be doing right now for me is thinking through, because I gave it a pretty advanced query, is it's going to think through my skill sets from all my historical chats. So I've talked to it about content creation, web design, resumes, school, studying, polymath, anything I'm curious in. It's now going to figure out all those different things. So I didn't even tell it what kind of job I'm looking for. It already has the kind of plan in place. So I'm kind of curious what it finds right now. So this one's going to probably take a while because this is the agent process. So as you can tell, it kind of takes over. They made a nice little prettier functionality, which I like this. Instead of having that the first setup for ChatGPT's operator was literally it opening a mock UI for a web browser and then it clicking around and doing everything. But you never had access to it. You can, you were able to tell it to go do stuff, but oftentimes it would get bogged down by too much tabs and stuff. So I would set it on like tasks to like go down the eBay rabbit hole to go shopping for me. And I always found that it would get bogged down by product tabs. And it would just be like, I give up. I can't do anything anymore. I can't find any product for you. This is and then it just became a waste. And then if I needed to clean up everything, it was a little bit glitchy. It didn't store my logins. You'd have to log in manually every single time. So you close out that chat and you lose everything because in the system architecture as a whole, it was always in the display. It was always like a fractured detached web interface that the LLM was utilizing. Now it's giving you it right there. So you're the operator, you open up the page, and it's your window, it's your display. We're now just connecting the tools so we can work with you on your screen. So I have full access, full functionality control. This is just like any other time. Now the agent can just go in, look at my screen, and start clicking away and doing things for me if I need it to. Obviously, if you're like a plus subscriber like I am, not a pro, you have limited queries. So getting like a firm understanding of how to limit your agent queries is going to be super powerful. Like right now I'm doing web search, where this might not be beneficial for it, but because I'm doing web search and doing a creation and I wanted it on another page, I didn't want it in its own script. I didn't want to waste time copy and pasting. So clicking over agent mode to kind of do everything all together made more sense, even though I have other options to web search, research, write, do things like that. Like I can drop and create documents myself. That's not important. But for me at that moment and for this particular moment, I wanted to showcase what agent could do in this new interface. Just last week, I've been using agents quite a bit, and they made it better. But you know, an agent working in here, all it did was open up a browser, and it would be very small. It would tell you what it's doing, right? And it would do things accurately and efficiently, but again, it always kept it fractured. And so it would do things very small in this small little thing, and it would just give me like a little dialog box. It would kind of similar to this. I mean, like, I'm looking at doing this, da 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 da. And I was like, are you? I don't see the UI functionality. But here they brought it back. And so it's really cool that even in agent mode, you have your full control. And it's nice that I have an agent running right now on this page, and I can come over here and continue to do work. Be like da 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 da. And so this little icon tells me it's working. Agent's working on this icon. I can come over. I can do. So multitasking is going to be super crazy in the future, especially with something like this. This is kind of really cool. So right now, I just made my Google Docs. So I'm already logged in. It's finding me jobs, partnership manager. Just did a scrub. So since this came out, I haven't, aside to display this, I haven't even come over to doing this today. Like, this just came out yesterday. I've been having fun with it. I've gotten out of doing, still technically it's still split screen, but instead of having 2 web pages open, shrunk down, it's just one tab, right? One tab, one conversation, and I'm loving this. This simple feature is super nice. Just having tabs, and then having the chat that is applicable to this page. Super helpful, super cool. Like, here's the code I requested for doing an app script. Hey, can you get me to my Google App Script page? So I don't even know the website to it, so it's going to look that up. Copy. Paste. That was Google. That was. There. think the only thing is it's like because I clicked something, like this was a sign in and now I'm on my primary page. Now I got to go back over here and now I have a new chat, but now I got to switch over. So, okay. Oh, I made a mistake. Hold up. Wait a minute. Let's see. History. Reopen a closed tab. I think I accidentally interrupted you. Can you get back to what it was you were doing for me? ChatGPT Atlas. ChatGPT Atlas. I'm downloading it from my Mac on my laptop. So, going back to creating the doc. Oh gosh. All right. So this is going to be really fun to explore. Let's see. Bookmarks, tabs, windows, pretty self-explanatory. Yeah, I'm just so happy like I can have things big again. Like I've been operating on this half split screen for so long. I think it's been like 2 years and just like spending so much time. Like I bought a gaming mouse and then completely mapped it to the copy and paste functions. So I had special keys. But even then it like, I think one of the updates scrubbed my mapping. And then, so I got back to just doing the Control Alt. And so I got used to doing this, still. But I got just so used to like scrubbing content over, back and forth, dropping. So you write something, you see something, you read an article, and you want it to be paraphrased or looked at or something. Copy the whole thing, drop it into a chat interface, and then do whatever it is you needed to do, and then have it give you an output and then drop it somewhere else. And so it's just constant battle of copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. And now you still kind of have to do that, but it's nicer that it frees up one extra step at least. And when you're doing that 100 times in a sequence, it drastically frees you up of needing to copy over so much. And especially when you can have applicable conversations to directly what it is you're looking at. Like right now I'm on my Google Docs. I've just it just made me the document right now, so now I can go ahead and review it. It's got 9 pages of documentation it just made for me. Found me. How many jobs did you find me? Just give me in the chat a brief lowdown of each job, what it is, what it entails, what the pay salaries all look like. Where are these jobs located at? Did you keep in mind my region? My region? Sometimes you gotta remember when you have I have a very limited access to use the agents, so I try to use them sparingly. They can run out really, really fast. I don't know. I like how this one actually gives you the count. I don't think they've done that here. So like if I click on, oh, it does. Okay. Close it. Agents. So it's showing me that I have this many left. 25 queries. Okay, so it does show you how many left you have. Does it tell you how many deep research? 20 left. All right, cool. Infinite. I wonder if you can open up Canvas. Browser memory. Tell me about this browser memory function. I just clicked it in the chat interface portion of this application. Give me a brief on how it operates and what its purpose is. ChatGPT's long-term memory function. Here's a quick breakdown on how it works. Purpose: it lets ChatGPT remember useful information about you or your projects across chats. Things like your goals, preferences, ongoing tasks, so I can give more consistent and personalized help later. How it operates: when you explicitly tell me to remember something, for example, remember that I'm focusing on job applications this month, it's stored in memory. You can view, edit, delete these memories at any time from memory panel in the chat sidebar. What memory panel are you referring to? Probably this. In chat, the memory panel is located inside the chat sidebar. It's the place where you can see, edit, delete anything I've remembered for you. Delete chat. Okay. I'm guessing this is the reference, the memory. Go to view and then edit. History. I am not seeing that button. Maybe here. Archived chats. New projects. Chats. Bazillion of them. Close. New chat. Search. Library. Archived chats. GPTs. Close that. All right. So it is cool. I'm not quite sure. I'm not seeing what it is. Turn memory off entirely if you prefer. All right, can you give me a quick brief on the jobs you found me? And then why you selected them? Sales district, PepsiCo, marketing strategist, marketing coordinator, social media content specialist, Compass Mining, remote, partnership manager, Metaplex Foundation. One thing that I remember that ChatGPT couldn't necessarily do was stuff for eBay and Notion. So let's go. Let me get this taken care of real quick. Someone bought something from off my eBay store. Thank you, Mr. Marcus. All right. Go back to orders. And then let me double check what that order was. The jersey card, David Clarkson. All right. So let me go. All right, I'm on my eBay store. I have never bothered to make any edits to the page. Go through it and give me some suggestions. I need to finish, like, kind of more formalize my store. It's just something I never bothered to spool up, just because I never thought it was important to do it or spend time doing it. But I think it'd be better if we had some images, some just more thought out strategically of like how my store presents itself. So go ahead and can you do that for me? If you look at my display, you can tell that I'm currently in edit store mode, so I might need to get out of that, but I can switch over to agent mode if necessary. Cool. We're going to put that in our to-do list. We'll come back to this later. Remember these two things. We need to update my store. So we're going to render and generate images, update the store, and then we are going to go shopping as well. So what I would like you to do now is activate your web search function and do a little bit of two things. I need you to look at the kind of products I currently sell, do some market research of various active trends right now, and then I want you to look at forward projection metrics and see if we can pivot anything to either strategically put something on sale, make some product purchases to sell in the future, and actually shop around for discounts. So I would like you to do all those things. So go ahead and make it happen. Particularly focus on some shopping. I would like to focus on stuff I'm already selling, or similar products, but try to find things that are in niche, also have strong metrics to show sales volume that I can make a sale on it, and then find me a way to flip that on the platform. So if you go to eBay, you can play around with different filter requirements. You could typically see each listing, and you can play around with the bell curve. We're looking at the bottom bell curve of products to flip and push a profit margin on. So this is one thing the last agents inherently kind of struggled with, was kind of working through this process. It's just, maybe I just wasn't prompting correctly, or I just had a weird framework of a frame of reference in my thinking of what I was trying to do, or the tool is just weak of how it operated. Now that it's been some time, one thing that when operating an eBay store, my key benefit, one thing that people say about eBay and they question is eBay profitable? And that's like, well, it depends on what lens you're looking at. Because profitable is subjective. Profitable enough to raise a family off of? I don't know. I'm not there. My theory and thesis is eBay could be profitable enough to generate income, some revenue, when you're the kind of person like myself who's more diversified various revenue sources. So I have my eBay store, my wife has her Etsy, I'm going to school, I have jobs that I work. I've worked like 2 part-time jobs. I had a handyman service that I've had before. I have my own stock portfolio and crypto portfolio, various real estate assets. So I have a diversified portfolio base of revenue sources. So I always thought that when the tools get there, I think eBay selling could be really, really beneficial, because when you have a tool such as this, of what I'm doing right now, is having it look at market trends and shop around for me. If I can remove myself from the picture of needing to do a lot of the heavy labor of shopping around, running the math, listing things and stuff like that, right? Technology can take a lot of the burden. For instance, that sale, I haven't pushed a sale in a month. Like, this is my first sale, and I think this week, in probably about close to 2 weeks. And at first it kind of bothered me, and I'm like, nah, it's all right. It can sit there, right? I've purchased a bunch of product, and it costs me nothing electrically or promotionally wise to just let it sit there and let people look at it through the internet, to look at my products. Now, would I like more product to move? Yeah, but that's not the goal. The goal is to leverage technology to do the legwork, and I go about my life. So I'm operating at the risk of I may not make as much money as I would like to, but I would also like this machine to be self-sufficient. So that's, for me, the end goal. That's the highest profit margin, is self-sufficient machine, leveraging technology, but taking more of a profit revenue loss is okay for me if I can have it being self-sufficient, right? The way I think of it is, there's a little story for kids. It's like, don't feed the goldfish or something like that. The boy overfed the goldfish, and the goldfish kept growing out of its bowl. And essentially it was filling up to the container that it fit in. That's the way I think of this as an analogy. You have the technology base that is the bowl, and I look at what's the max revenue source that I can fit into this container by leveraging the technology of the container, right? So AI tools, agents, the internet, right? Digital distribution, digital computations, right? This frees up my personal bandwidth time of gaining capital. And so that's the way I think about it, is that's the framework that we're looking at. I just had an agent come up with a market trend analysis on the fly, and it got me all this report that I can comb through on my leisure. It gave me some suggestions, and then when I have the time, I'm probably going to tell it, hey, go ahead, go start shopping around for that stuff. But at the current state, I'm going to close out this stream right here. Thanks for watching. If you're a late viewer and you're getting to this, if you popped into the stream, hung out with me for a little bit, thanks for popping in and exploring this new software tool. I think it's cool. I'm going to keep playing with it. You're probably going to see me playing with it a lot. Big game changer for me. It's really, really simple. It's just having everything in one page and just having the option of, as I'm sorting through, I have multiple chats all going cohesively. That's something I already had going on, but my brain had to filter. I had to jump to different tabs. But now I can have individualized chats for each page, or I can flip it if I needed to. I can switch to another tab or chat. So like sometimes like these two pages might be operating on the same chat because they're working cohesively, right? So it's really cool that the chat interface right off the bat can just see it without scrubbing it. And it was able to, it clicked on agent mode and got me to somewhere without me doing anything. I wish it didn't do that, but because then it just wastes my agent credits. God damn it, but it's all right. I'll live. But yeah, this is super sweet. Just having it right there on the fly, being able to read what I'm doing, being able to integrate with what it is I'm doing right there. All it is just a click away. And as you can see me all the time, I'm operating my voice chat mode. So instead of wasting time typing away here on my keyboard, I just click and I voice transcribe things. So I'm literally just talking to my computer. All day long, giving it directives like it was an employee or a team member for me. So thanks for popping in.